Hi, Kat.
Hi, John.
How are you doing today?
John, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well myself, thank you. It's a nice,
Great.
beautiful, sunny day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what did you want from me today? What's going on?
Oh, okay. Well, today's list of things I need from John Fitzgerald, it's all written down right here.
Oh, okay.
Number
that
one.
looked blank just
no,
at
no,
first.
no.
Oh,
It's,
no, okay.
it's a glare, I think, off
I
of
see.
my ring light.
Ah, okay.
Number one is to be nice to me.
Okay,
No
well, I always
questions.
do that,
Number
mostly.
two, I need you to have a sunny disposition. No comments.
okay.
Number three, John, you need to smile more. And number four, we're going to record a podcast.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna concentrate on number 4 right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's your choice.
My sunny disposition is my sunny business. All right.
It's your choice.
My sunny delight and my purple stuff.
Just
It is
saying.
my personal business. I just
You'd
want you to
be
know.
prettier if you smiled more.
Oh my God. Can you hear my smile, Kat?
I can hear something.
Can you hear it? Do you want me to turn it up?
No, it's okay. Oh,
Okay,
no,
good,
that's
good.
fine.
Nope, that's fine.
Too
Okay,
loud,
good,
too
good,
loud.
Good. So we're doing a podcast. Number 4.
are.
We are recording a podcast, and we do this fairly frequently, like once a week, except for one time in the last 4 years. And yes, I'm always going to concentrate on that thing.
You
Sunny
gotta
disposition.
let it
sunny
go.
disposition,
See what I'm
sunny
saying? This is
disposition.
what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Fair. Okay, so mostly we do this every week. And the
Mostly.
podcast that we do is called My Mistake.
Yes.
And what do we talk about on the My Mistake podcast, Kat?
Mistakes,
Word. That's good. That's all I need to know.
right?
Right? So, guess what?
What?
No, guess.
Oh,
apropos of nothing.
You have a dentist appointment later.
That's a good guess, but not true because
Damn
I don't
it.
currently have dental insurance.
Oh, fuck. I shouldn't have brought that up. Fuck.
It is all good. It's all good. No, we have a guest today.
Oh,
which
thank
is-
God.
Yes, right? Somebody to help pull this load.
Oh, my goodness. It is a load.
It is a load. It is a load. And do you know who our guest is, Kat?
I have no idea.
Our guest is a returning guest.
Oh, good.
Who's been on the show a number of times, and each time more delightful than the last.
Oh, boy. I can't wait.
So, please welcome Lesley.
Hey, it's Lesley.
Me, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's
so
so
glad
great to
you're
have you
here.
again.
So glad you're
It's
here.
such a pleasure to be here. It's such a pleasure to be here for the third time.
Hey.
It's the third
Third
time.
time.
Welcome
You know,
to the club.
like once is nice, and then twice is oh they really liked me, and a third time is like
Oh, this is third date. That's when people get lucky. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, that's well. It's funny that you mentioned that, John,
Huh? Yeah.
Oh.
because the mistake that I come here to tell you about today relates incredibly heavy to that very topic.
It's a third date
boy.
mistake.
It is not a third date mistake.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
It's the getting lucky kind of mistake.
I like. How could that ever be a mistake to get lucky? Okay, I'm just
Oh,
kidding. I know
honey.
lots
I
of
think we're
ways.
going to
yeah.
find out. Yeah.
I was going to say, first of all, yeah, you'll find out. But secondly, there's so many ways I can think of off the top of my head. So I really would love to preface this story
You can do
by
that right now.
by telling y'all that you know, in the course of doing just a little bit of background information gathering, so that I could get the finer points of it together,
Right.
I realized that so much shit happened on this trip that I'm about to tell you about that I didn't realize was on the same trip.
You had-
Like
you
I
had-
thought they were different.
Oh.
You made it
occasions
episodic in your
entirely.
head just to
I
be able
did.
to digest all of it. Okay.
I did. The thing is, so this story is a story that takes place in London, circa
Ooh.
2017.
Okay.
During that time of my life, I went to London about twice a year. So
Great.
it's understandable that I would think this was definitely a different time from that other batshit thing that happened, or that certainly couldn't have possibly happened at the same time as this.
Oh,
They were
no.
all like, there were like 5 different things
Oh,
in the
boy.
same trip. And so researching this made me realize that now I'm like, that might have been my favorite London trip. That was crazy.
Lesley, was Mercury in retrograde at that time? Do you know?
I was, I I'm not an astrology bitch. I don't know.
Neither
I
am
can't
I.
say.
Neither
I
am I.
can't. I know that you're asking me sarcastically, but if I did know the answer, I would have educated
would-
you, but I don't.
I appreciate that. That is awesome.
Lovely.
So are we going to
lovely.
get the whole trip, or is there? Do we even have enough
No.
time on the podcast?
No,
Okay.
no. We are still going to focus on this incident, but in
Okay.
order to set the mood, give the aesthetic and the vibe for the trip, I will give a couple of vignettes of
Great.
other
Okay.
things that I realized happened on the same trip.
Love it.
Did I say we love working with pros? Did I say that? Because
Can't say
I'm
it enough.
feeling that. I can't say it enough.
Can't say it enough.
Thank you. It's
You're
very
welcome.
flattering of you to call me a pro. So the first vignette is the vignette about how I went slightly viral and made a lot of friends from a fandom that I have nothing to do with.
Oh, amazing.
So
Okay.
I had gone to London in 2017. And that is where these first two little little amuse-bouches of stories are going to get you. And then before we get to the main event,
Amuse our bouches.
Please.
Do it.
I'm here to amuse your bouches. So
Been a while.
So I used to have a lot more money than sense. And I because
Than
because
sense?
I
Sorry, than sense. Got it.
than sense. Because I was working for a company that was based in New York City and I lived here in Austin, and they were paying me like, this was before like working remote was a big, this was 2017, and
Right.
it was a remote position, and that was a new thing. And so they paid me way too much money. That's just all I'm saying. Like, they paid me too much money. And I was incredibly irresponsible about it.
Good for you.
And, you know, this is my third time on this show. Y'all have to believe at this point, I am not great at making smart decisions. So
I'm looking forward to many, many more episodes after this. Yes.
I do love that my second appearance was being live texted to you at the time. Like, at the time
It was so fantastic.
right.
And it may have been one of our largest responses to social media to photos that we posted.
Oh, that's
Because we
right.
posted the photos of your injuries
The
to your
evidence
legs.
photos.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of response from that.
I love that. Well, now I'm going to have to go back and look. That's fantastic, I think. So it's 2017. I have more money than sense. I decide at the very last minute that I'm going to go to London Film and Comic Con.
Nice.
And because I want to go and hang out with this guy who's going to be there, who is in the industry and whom I know tangentially through some other. It's all boring stuff. That's why I'm not telling you. I'm not keeping anything from you. It's just very boring and not part of the story.
Fair enough. Now, you know,
uh,
Kat is very much involved in the world of fandom.
Sure. Sure.
Yes. So she's going to be a lot more familiar with like UK Comic Con, I think, than I might be. But
Right.
yeah.
So I had decided to just go, and because I was like, oh, that ought to be fun. You know, like, also there's this show I kind of want to go to in London and all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. So I took like some very last minute made some very last minute arrangements to get to London, to go to London Film and Comic Con. I found out, I think a few days before I was going to leave, that apparently Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be there.
Okay.
And that was a huge deal because he's very huge and people really love him. And
Right.
I personally don't have an opinion one way or the other.
oh, I'm a Cumberbitch from way back.
So people confused me for one, simply because I was a huge BBC Sherlock fan back in the day, and people
Right.
like often conflated the two.
Got it.
But I never really had an opinion. Like, it's fine. I just didn't have an opinion.
Right.
So there was a pretty popular shirt T-shirt in the Sherlock fandom at the time, and it was just a gray shirt that just said, "Who the fuck is Benedict Cumberbatch?" And so I thought to myself, as somebody with more money than sense who has this T-shirt, how funny would it be if I bought one of these extravagantly expensive photo ops to get a picture of myself with Benedict Cumberbatch whilst wearing a shirt
Nice.
that says, "Who the fuck is Benedict Cumberbatch?" So that's what I did,
Very
and
good.
it was fine and it was great, and he thought it was funny, whatever. So that's the setup for this. So
Okay.
I proceeded afterward to go out with a bunch of my fandom friends. We got really, really drunk in the pubs, whatever. And like, as the day was waning on and it was time for me to go home, I got on the overground and I just zoned out. What it had like 1,000-yard stare. as I was going back to my place. I know this because the next morning I woke up very hungover in need of some beef tips or something disgusting.
Yeah.
And I was putting these disgusting things in my mouth and looking at Twitter, which was still cool to do in 2017.
Right.
And I was getting a lot of notifications. Apparently, the random lady, Londoner, who was sitting across from me on the train, thought my shirt was very funny and tweeted it, like took a picture of me that I was unaware of.
Oh no.
Tweeted it and then like used the Benedict Cumberbatch hashtag. So like all of these people found it. And a lot of them knew me from the Sherlock fan and were like, I know who that is. And so that's, and then a bunch of people that I didn't know who were huge Benedict Cumberbatch fans were like, oh, well, I should follow this guy. I'm like, I'm not part of this. I'm not part of this. I don't know anything about this world. I don't say anything about this. You will not have fun here. Regardless, I did make like 40 mutual friends that are still friends of mine to this,
that's awesome.
to this day.
That's so
And
cool.
yeah, one time when I went to New York on a whim, one of them put me up in her place for a few days. So they're a really nice fandom. I just don't know anything about them. So,
Right.
so yeah.
It's when you mentioned Twitter, we are recording this historically on a day when Twitter has ceased to be.
It's no more Twitter.
It is
Not
now
today.
x.com.
Right.
Yep.
Now X.com. Yeah.
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 Yep. Want a Blue Sky
RIP.
invite code?
I have on Blue Sky. Let's do this.
You're on. Well, let's definitely. Yeah, we need to connect up.
Yeah.
We need to do it.
Yep.
I'm Venetti
All
on
the
there
cool kids
too.
are going there. Mhm.
All the cool kids are going there. So yeah, so that is the first. That's the first story.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Love it.
so that's like just to kind of give you the vibe. The second one is a little bit shorter because it doesn't involve as much explanation, as much exposition, if you will. So in the same trip, I was there, I was by myself having a drink at not a pub, at a bar. There is definitely a difference.
Sure.
And this was certainly a bar. A large group of bikers came in, leather, tattoos, the fish, like the hair, all of it, came in and asked me if they could sit with me because I was occupying a large space and I was by myself. I said, sure, no problem. We got to talking and drinking, and they told me that they are tattoo artists at this place called Diamond Jacks in Soho, and I should go and get a tattoo there before I was, yeah, of course I will. Didn't do it that night, didn't do it for the next 3 nights, but I did do it the day before I left. So
Okay.
I did get a tattoo. It was terrible.
Oh, no.
I attempted to get it fixed, and the guy who attempted to fix it made it worse.
Oh, no.
So
Oh dear.
so that's the second story. Very much shorter, little.
A tale
So
of
this
the
is-
ill-advised biker tattoo.
This is the vibe of this trip, okay? This is
Okay.
the energy that we have going into this tale.
What I'm getting is there's a lot of experimentation. There's a lot of trusting of the universe. In one case, it seems to have really panned out. In the other, not so much.
And now we have story number 3.
Love it.
So as part of this being an impulse decision to go to
Right.
London, my lodging was questionable.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how much money you have. There's just, when you don't have time, there's just simply not a lot you could do with what you got, you know?
You take the first thing
So-
and hope for the best.
and hope for the best. And I will say, like, it was fine. It wasn't like the place itself wasn't super sketchy. It was small. The bed was uncomfortable. You know, it's you get what you pay for. The area was odd.
Okay.
I do not remember which area it was in. You may recall at the beginning of this episode that I did mention that I would go to London about twice a year. That is true. I don't know where the fuck I was during this trip, like because
You
I
stayed
just
someplace
told you
different
two
every
s-
time? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I stayed someplace different every time, but like even though I do have a pretty good grasp on like London, geography, I was not sober for a large swath of this trip. And so, you just kind of have to keep in mind 2017 was a different time. I was a different person. Lots of fodder for this podcast, lots of entertaining stories. Glad I
If
did it.
only you could have remembered even more of it. I'll bet there's more.
Bro, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm really glad because I can't imagine. Because this, like, when I look back and think about the stuff I do remember, like, oof, that's oof, 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 oof. It's
Yeah.
it's very it makes my teeth itch a little. So I think I'd rather just stay away from overt memories if I can.
Totally understood. Do you ever get those intrusive thoughts? You'll be just doing something that has nothing to do with anything, and all of a sudden you remember some cringeworthy thing you did, and you just make a sound, and yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how I realized I needed to talk about this story with you guys. I think I was hanging out with my best friend, and we were having margs at our favorite marg place, and he said something or just something. I was like, oh God, no, that reminds me of you know what though? You know who would love to hear about this? I know a couple of people who would love to hear about this.
This is fodder, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And the great thing about this one is like it was back in 2017. So like this is the oldest one I've told y'all yet.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I could say I'm a different person now.
Right.
These are all these mistakes. Hindsight's 2020. Who would ever do that kind of thing these days? Honestly, not me, but because I'm engaged, not because of anything else.
Right.
Here's what happened. So I was staying in a pretty sketchy part of town. It had a lot of off licenses, like with little liquor stores, and a lot of Ladbrokes and stuff, like betting places, gambling places, that kind of thing. Imagine like an American strip mall, like the kind that has the cash advance and pawn shops and stuff in it. The British version of that is more or less where I was. So I got there on a Friday night, and I like took my stuff, and the street was pretty quiet. And I was like, okay, that's cool, whatever. I got back to the flat on the next day on the Saturday, and there was a restaurant, a Brazilian place, that had been open before, but now they had like blocked off the entire sidewalk, and they had replaced like that part of the sidewalk was now their patio.
Got it.
And it was a giant dance party, loud as fuck, insane lights, people dancing, people drinking, people smoking, just like it was crazy.
Awesome.
And I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, like this is wild. I got to see what this is, like this just looked like a hole in the wall, Brazilian restaurant that was closed already the last time I saw it.
Like a moth to a flame.
Like I tell you what, back in 2017, that's exactly the way they used to get me.
A different time.
Different time, It's different time.
It was. Different time, different person. Different Lesley.
Different Lesley entirely. So I got there and I got myself a little red wine. I was having a red wine moment. And I was outside smoking a cigarette and having my red wine and just like looking around and seeing like, let's see what happens. So here's what happened. So this guy comes up to me, and he is probably about 5'10". He is slender. He has an olive complexion, glasses, very long, very thick, dark hair. And he comes and he sits down next to me, and he asks me if he could bum a cigarette. Sure, why not? And then he asked me my name, and I told him my name, and he told me his name, and he told me that his name was Jean-Pierre. I'm sure it wasn't. It doesn't matter. He did have a vague accent, and I asked him where he was from. I think that he said that he was Lebanese. I'm trying to remember. I don't I believe it started with an L.
Great.
I'm giving y'all what I had to work with.
Great.
You know what I'm saying? So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We can't ask for any more.
You really can't. So this probably Lebanese guy whose name might be Jean-Pierre is talking to me. And this guy's got to be like 22. He's young.
He's a baby.
He's a little baby. And in 2017 I was
a little baby.
I was not that young. I just turned 40, so let's see, I was like in my late 30s, I guess.
60,
yeah.
34.
34, mid 30s. So and this guy is obviously like 22 at the on the outside probably.
Yeah, right.
And then he's like, thanks for the cigarette. And then he said to me, I've never met an American before. And that's when I looked at him and I said, dude, I'm 34 years old. You do not have to try this hard. There's no way in the world that you've never met an American before in your life. If you want this, like, I live in the place, like, it's right up here, like, but you don't have, like, there's no effort here. Like, it's don't blow smoke up my ass. Either this is happening or it's not. And like, but don't, you've never met an American.
Hey, Jean-Pierre, it's on. Okay?
Yeah,
like it's fucking on.
You're trying too hard.
You're trying way too hard. Way too hard. So, and also, like, I really didn't have any designs one way or the other. But I just wanted to throw that out there. If this is what you're trying to do, let's do it. If not, then, like, why are you saying these weird things out of your mouth? So,
I've always been so jealous of people who are that in touch with themselves and their sexuality. And just like, yeah, that is so not me. I've always needed to meet people like that in order for something to actually happen.
To actually happen.
Yeah, exactly.
So you would have been.
I'm
Jean-Pierre
in this. Yeah, that's
No, I would not say that. You're not. You got to wait a while before you just make that definitive.
Yeah,
all right.
wait until we've heard the story first.
Thus far, that we match up, but that's it.
Sure. So we decide that we're going to have a couple more drinks first, because the flat is really, like, seriously, like, the restaurant was next door to the building my flat was in, and so my flat was like one door and up the stairs,
Great.
kind of situation. So we decided to have a couple of more drinks, and we did that, and then we're like, all right, let's go back. So at some point between, while we were having drinks, I guess we must have exchanged numbers on WhatsApp, because I had it later. So that must have happened at some point. It certainly didn't happen after we left the bar.
Okay.
Because after we left the bar, I'm actually pretty thrilled. I'm kind of having my, like, Stella got her groove back moment, because I don't do stuff like that. I mean, I'm confident enough to do stuff like this. I just never have.
Right.
So this is first for me, and I'm sitting here like, I just like pulled this, like, young, tall, dark, handsome,
maybe Lebanese man
named Jean-Pierre. That's fantastic.
Great.
Thinking I'm gonna have a night to tell a story about. I was right.
You were right. You are doing that now, but
I'm doing it right now. But I am doing it on a podcast called My Mistake, which is not.
Oh, no.
Context is everything.
Leslie.
The monkey's paw curled when I thought that to myself. So we get back and we got back inside the apartment. Whatever. And I ask him if he has protection. And of course he says, no, he doesn't. And so I said, okay, well, so you can go down on me and then you have to leave.
All right.
Laying down the law.
I love that.
Yeah.
Listen, I've made it this far in life without those kinds of issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that. Like, I just don't.
Right.
Keep going.
Nah.
This is an eat it and exit situation.
Yeah, sorry. If you had a little something in your pocket, but sorry about it. Hate
Like
it.
a drive-through situation.
Right. So he decides that he's going to go ahead and get to business. There's just no describing
Uh-oh.
it was a little bit like war, in that there were large swaths of abject boredom followed by sharp pangs of confusion, loss, and general mourning. That is the only way I can think of to describe this poor man's head game.
Oh, no.
I have never heard oral sex compared to war before. And yet it is maybe the most apt thing I've heard in weeks.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just wanted this whole thing to be over with at this point. So, I did something that I'm very not proud of, and I faked it. And I was like, okay, thank you, good night. Leave. Which he did. And I thought that was the end of it.
Right. I'm gonna take a wild guess, Lesley. That wasn't the end of it?
You know what, John? There were actually a couple of other things that happened after that related to this.
I'm so good at this. I'm so
You're
good at this.
so good at this. You're such a good listener.
I try. Active listening, that's the key.
That is the key. They teach you that in Call Center 101. All right. So what happened after that? The next night was a Saturday. Or I think I got my dates wrong because the night that it was not bumping was the first night I got there, which was Thursday. And then on Friday it was bumping, and that's when all this happened. So on Saturday night, I get back to my flat expecting it to be bumping again, and it's not. Nothing. Crickets, nothing. It's just there's nothing there. It's like it never happened.
Right.
And I was like, fine with me. Like that's, you know what? I'm cool with it.
Bargadoon. It's just once every 100 years. It's
Bargadoon. Wow.
Sorry, that's an old musical theater.
No. I know Brigadoon. I know.
Oh,
Brigadoon.
I'm sure.
I do. So, okay, I'm going on with my life. I'm getting my tattoos. I'm, like who the fuck knows Benedict Cumberbatch, all that stuff, doing all of these things in the interim. All of this. Don't forget the vignettes at the beginning. This is all happening in between these parts of the story.
Love it.
So I get back to my place on Sunday night. Sunday. Weekend's over. It's Sunday night. Bargadoon is back.
Hello.
Twice every 100 years. That's
Bargadoon is returned. It wasn't there on Saturday. Was there on Friday. Was there on Sunday? I don't know. I do not know. So, what would you do? Like, if you were smart, if you were wise, and you'd had this really weird and uncomfortable, awkward experience that you just kind of wanted to put behind you, and you saw that this place that is periodically ineffably open sometimes where this event started to transpire was indeed open again. If you were smart, what do you think you'd do?
I would avoid it at all costs.
That is exactly what a smart person would do. That's exactly what a smart person would do.
But it's so convenient.
That's not, it was right there. It was right there.
I would walk around I'd go around the other block. Like I'd go all the way around just so I didn't have to walk in front of it.
I wouldn't have had to walk in front of it. It was just past my door. I just saw it, and it had to.
You were right there.
It was right there, man.
Oh,
I was right there. And what if it didn't show up again? Not only did Bargadoon return.
Oh no.
Jean-Pierre was there as well.
Hello.
Of course he was.
And he came right up to me. Very apologetic. I was so drunk, and I'm so sorry, and all this stuff. Blah, blah,
So he
blah.
at least knew he was bad.
Yeah, apparently there was some awareness there.
Interesting.
I was like, man, don't worry about it. Like like it happens, and who cares, and blah blah blah. So then, he's like, well, we can always,
Did he come prepared this time?
Give it another go. He did. He did.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? I think I'm good.
Good for you.
I'm good. Just like, again, I just want to take you back to a few brief moments ago when I compared this to war. So I said, you know what? I'm Gucci.
Invade me once, shame on you.
Shame on you. Invade me twice.
Shame on you, Lesley.
Just makes an ass out of you and me. You know what I'm saying?
All those things.
All those things. So I said, no, thank you. And then he said, well, how long are you in town? And I said some number. I don't know. I was telling the truth or I wasn't. Who can say? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. And then he was like, oh, well, maybe we could go get a coffee. And he's like, legitimately wanting to be in my meat space. And I was like, what is happening here? You are a child. And I'm not and I don't have any illusions about myself. I'm incredibly attractive, but I'm not sexy enough for you to be trying all of this. You could be trying this on girls who are way stupider and sexier who would absolutely go for it.
I think he was into your mind, Lesley.
I don't even have a response.
The look was enough.
I don't even have a response to that. Like, I wish I had a witty thing to say in response because that would be great, but that would just, I don't know what to say to you right now.
It's fair. I don't know that it was even that good a comment, so it probably doesn't deserve rejoinder, is what I'm going to say there. Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said, no, I'm good. And then I decided, you know what? I'm just going to leave. So I took my leave of him.
Okay.
And the problem with all of this, I did do the smart thing. The second time I did say, you know what? I'm good. It doesn't matter. Like, let's leave it. It doesn't, meh. But he did know where I was staying. And he did know how to get there.
Yeah.
Yep. And he had your WhatsApp.
And he had my number on WhatsApp.
Right.
So a couple of times, like every morning around 10, he would come and like knock on the door and try and get coffee with me.
No.
Yes.
Fuck off, Jean-Pierre.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
he would text me constantly asking me where I was in the city throughout the day. Like, this man, like, I don't know, because what's down there, y'all?
Cotton candy. That's all. It must just be cotton candy.
What the fuck is down there, y'all? Like, I don't know what else to say. Cotton candy. I think it must be. Or if we want to keep with the theme, they call it fairy floss over there.
All right. Fairy floss. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I've heard candy floss. I hadn't heard fairy floss. I like that
Yeah,
better.
they have fairy floss, candy floss. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, whatever it was, it's good.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
There you go.
Thanks, I guess. But so the conclusion of this story, very unsatisfyingly, is just that he was like a little sad puppy dog until I finally got on a plane and left town. The end.
Goodness.
Fair.
Jean-Pierre.
Oh, Jean-Pierre. Wow.
Jean-Pierre. So I will now open the floor to questions.
This is the Q&A portion of the story. I have questions. Do you have questions? Look, I've written some down.
See, this is the thing, Kat. What's really great is I am the kind of person, I'm not going to remember my questions later, and I would never do something as responsible as writing them down.
I see.
So that's why I just interrupt the guest periodically to ask my questions during the story.
I see. That's your process.
That's my process, and everybody just needs to deal with it.
Okay.
But your process is different, and it's it's more grown up, responsible, all the things I rebel against. Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. Question number 1. Lesley, how long was the war? How long are we talking here?
So there were a number of factors that made it difficult to objectively determine, right? There's the actual generation of PTSD that's happening at the time that makes things feel like they're longer than they are.
Of course.
There's the fact that I was quite inebriated, which also messes with your concept of time. But I would say it was. This is really. I can't believe you asked this. It was roughly about 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty dragged out. Yeah, for what was actually occurring.
That's a long time for a bad war to be happening.
I just kept kind of waiting. I was taking a while to let him figure out.
Maybe he's gonna find his groove and maybe he's
gonna figure it out. Yeah.
So all right. This is. Did it seem like he had any idea where in the boat the man was? That's all I'm asking.
No idea. See, the thing is, the thing that people don't realize when they think about the whole Stella got her group of cougars, whatever. These boys do not know what the fuck is going on. They have no idea. And you don't think about it really when you should. But when you're faced with something like this, and there's tall, dark, handsome, vaguely, exotic in some way that I can't tell, probably Lebanese, whatever. You think,
he's
it's
gonna know what's
attractive.
Up.
You think.
Yeah.
That if you're born good looking, you're going to be born knowing things. That's not.
You know
true.
what?
No.
You know what? The red flag. The red flag. The thing that should have made me know that this was going to be the shittiest head I've ever gotten in my life was when his pickup line was that he had never met an American.
It should have told you.
Should have just drawn the line right there. Yep.
Because if that's what you've got, if that's your A game, I'm sorry, but good sex starts in the conversation. You know what I'm saying? And like that's if you start off like that, like, dude.
You know, the most sensitive erogenous zone is the brain.
And that is the moral of this fucking story.
There we go.
I mean, yeah. Did it seem like he had moves or that he had done it before? Like,
that's the thing.
First time, maybe?
Like that was part of the reason why I was kind of annoyed when he came back. Like the second time, I was like, I'm sorry, I was so drunk or whatever. Like, buddy, I have also been, participating in drunk coitus, and I have not ever regressed past forgetting what I ever knew all the way back to.
What's this?
Like trying it with a banana with your girlfriend when you're in second grade or whatever. Like that's you're like oddly specific. Don't worry about it.
That never happened. I'm sure.
Moving on.
Completely hypothetical story. Mm-hmm.
Right. That's just something I pulled out of thin air. The point is, he definitely felt like he was trying to get his liquid courage, and then probably got on the advice of somebody who can say who. The idea to use that liquid courage to excuse to make an excuse for his transgressions.
Yeah, transgressions against you.
Yes,
it sounds like Jean-Pierre was ignorant. He was not necessarily
I feel like,
dumb, but ignorant.
Well, okay, let's think about it this way. Not only are we talking about, because it's all married, okay? As somebody who's now 40 years old and has been through a lot of stuff and has been through a lot of different relationships and different dynamics, sex and emotions are related. The body and the mind are related. And if this guy could not get his shit together enough to realize that I did not want to have coffee with him every morning at 10, like, obviously he doesn't know what the fuck is going on in the world.
No.
Right.
And he certainly doesn't know what the fuck is going on in the vulva.
Clearly. Not a lot going on, at least not a lot that's desirable.
I just feel like Jean-Pierre was probably gifted with some incredibly good looks, and that he has those despite everything else that is probably wrong with him. That is what I think.
Yeah, it's plausible. And there's a old 30 Rock thing called The Bubble, where people who are a certain amount of good looking, they get forgiven for not being good at things or not knowing things a lot more than other people.
And I think Jean-Pierre really got away with it.
He thought he was doing great.
He thought I think that oh my God, it just occurred to me that, like, what if I am the thing that made him realize that he wasn't doing great, and that's why he kept trying to pursue. Like, I ain't got cotton candy down there. I wounded his ego, and he had to fix that.
The first person to tell him.
I was the first person to tell him that he kind of sucked a little.
Yeah. Yeah. So
this is a revelation. We're having a revelation.
I love it.
I love it. I think you have performed a service in this case. That's Jean-Pierre needed to know this.
Yeah, a little bit of
and part of me now wonders, like, maybe this was 2017, like maybe he got his shit together and maybe he like figured it out, got married, and has a kid now or whatever. Like, it's
he might be an extremely cunning linguist at this point.
He could be an incredibly cunning linguist at this point.
I mean, you have his number. Let's call him. Can we call him right now? Let's just call him.
I actually do
have his WhatsApp number?
Let's call him.
Yeah, I do. Hold on.
I think you should call him.
To be fair, it is like late there, so hold on.
Well, he owes you, so.
Yeah, he does. Hold on.
Really 6 years later.
Okay,
hey, Jean-Pierre, I was just immortalizing your incredibly bad head.
Stop. Oh, wait. Maybe I didn't delete it, did I? Why would I have done that?
No.
No.
That would be a tragedy.
No.
Hold on. Let me go through all my... Hold up.
You were a different person, so.
I did get rid of it.
All right.
You know what? I think
that's a bummer.
As disappointed as I am,
I was doing.
I think that's the healthiest choice you could have.
You know what?
Really yeah, you're a different person.
You're absolutely right. I'm a different person. It doesn't matter. That's why it's gone. Although I will say that in the future, I do have some stories in which we could potentially try and find, like, that are not the target of the story. That just saying.
We
This is
love
an
to
idea that
pull
you
in,
should shelf entirely.
Perfect.
No, the Rashomon aspect of it is really good. Let's get all the perspectives.
Also, if y'all need like more media, like I do have photos of various things I've just not. Come on, but I have interesting photos of other
Great.
aspects of the
Like
story.
you in a "Who the fuck is Benedict Cumberbatch" T-shirt, maybe.
I
We have
have
to
the I
see
I
that.
have the one that went the one of me that lady took on the overground. I do,
You need
and
to
I
send us
also
that.
have like I obviously bought the photo op so I could take. So I have a picture of me with him with the so. But I did cover up the U because I felt like there were kids there.
Oh, that's. I think people will
So
still be able to figure
responsible.
out.
Oh,
There
they
are not
were,
a
and
lot
it
of
was fine.
words that have
They're,
F.
they're not. They were not.
Yeah.
So yes, I do have, and I also have like a weird little video that I took of like the outside of the bar because I was like, "What is this?"
Oh,
So
fun.
Of Bargadoon.
yeah, Bargadoon.
Let's
I do.
immortalize that.
So
Yeah.
so I do have like because I was looking through, and so the way that I tried to like get my life together enough to be able to tell this story and figure out like all the events as they unfolded, was I had to go to my photo library and my iPhone and go to this moment in time and be
Right.
like, and the thing is, I didn't remember what year it was. So I had to go, I was like, okay, well, I was in London.
Right.
And I remember the place I stayed at. I have a weird thing that I do where I always take pictures of the place I'm staying.
I
So
think that's wise.
Yeah,
so I
not
found
weird.
the picture of the place. I was like, that was it. And so then I started going through the photos and I was like, oh my God, this was that trip. This was that trip. Oh my God. So I've got yeah.
I have to say that the ability to search your personal photos by like location and time.
Yeah. And time.
It's leading to the ability to tell stories so much more accurately and better than we used to do.
I
right?
tell you, I never would have remembered that this was at the same time as those two. I also went to a concert and met like this actress who also does music. Like I can't
Nice.
like she's Ginger. I can't recall what her name is right now.
Ginger Spice.
No. She was an actor primarily. And then I was like,
Okay.
and you do music. Oh, that's another story entirely. We're deviating
wow.
because
Remember?
Ooh.
so let's get back to the
Negroni
questions.
time.
You may or may. It's my favorite little beverage.
I love that.
It's my favorite, and Hector made like this massive batch, like for my birthday, and it's been in the freezer.
Aw.
Like we've been nipping off of it for a while, and so I
Love
just
it. Well,
already
happy
had-
belated. Sorry
well,
to
thank
have
you.
missed.
40th,
Yeah.
40.
That's a
for
big
you.
one.
That's
That's a
a
That's
big
a
one.
big one.
I feel like I
Yeah.
did maybe on Twitter. Did I?
Yeah,
hope-
I think you
yeah,
did.
I did.
Because
Okay,
I mentioned
good.
it. Yeah.
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 I mean, I'm sorry, on X.com, which
Stop!
By
It
the way,
literally, yes.
So
I just
annoying.
got some breaking news.
Oh shit! Yeah, because it literally for the listeners turned into X.com like the day of recording.
The day
So-
that we recorded this. But here is what a friend of the pod, Ron Bunny, is telling me.
Oh, good.
Elon did not trademark X.com, and Microsoft actually owns the trademark.
Oh no!
Fucking
X.com.
stop!
And it is
Right?
a mistake. That's
Stop!
perfect. What an idiot.
So if that's wrong,
You
I
gotta
blame
get him
Ron
on
Bunny.
this show. Fucking hell!
He's been on a couple times. We'll have him on a couple more, I'm sure.
Talk about making a mistake.
Oh boy, yeah, we should. We could. No, I don't want Elon on the show.
Let's not. I was kidding. You would have
I
to.
know.
Let's. You know what? Let's go back to the funny and amazing
Let's
topic
do
at hand.
that. Let's do that.
And yeah, if you've got any further questions, I'm here for them.
Oh, of course. And I mean, I don't want to ask too many details, so I feel like I'm done with my.
I mean,
Okay.
I'll give you as many as you want, but you
I
must
don't know that
remember,
I want
I don't have a lot. So like,
that I want
keep that
them.
in mind.
No, it's fine.
The resolution is fuzzy on that anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
I will just say that like 15 to 20 minutes, you're a trooper.
It was a long time. Well, because I am at my heart a kind person. Like whatever else I am also very kind, and I do care about my fellow human being.
Yes.
And
There
I
you go.
was
I
think
really
that comes
rooting
through.
for
You're
him.
rooting for him. I bet you were.
He was rooting for something. I'll tell you that.
I'm not sure what, but
I'm not sure either.
I will say that if you had met a tall, dark, attractive lesbian, it would have been a very different
Oh my
outcome.
God.
Just
Oh my
a
God, that is not a story I would ever tell on this
little
podcast. I'll
couple
tell you
of
that.
letters
Isn't?
away
Why
from
not?
a good time.
Because there is no universe in which that would be a mistake, John. That's fine.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No universe. Actually, you know what?
Hit us.
my very first time here was about
That's
a
right.
lady. So I don't know that I can even say that.
Oh, that's true.
How
It
far
wasn't-
we've come.
It wasn't a great story about a lady. That's
Well,
right.
but we did not have sex though.
That's true.
Right.
That's
This
right.
is the
And that was
napkin
part of the
bish,
problem.
It-
right?
Yeah, the
So-
napkin bish.
Yes. So maybe if it's all full circle. I'm just
It's-
saying.
I don't know.
Uh,
So I wanted to ask you a question about the tattoo. Why was it horrible? What was it supposed to be? And you
No,
have
it
a
actually.
spit take,
So
by
I'm,
the way.
I'm actually honestly probably too hard on myself. I'm probably
Okay.
too hard on it. Like it's
Okay.
pretty crappy now. But the only problem that I really had, I went to a flash place and wanted something that was slightly nuanced and a little better, and they did a flash job of it. Like it's not,
Gotcha.
it's not like the worst thing you've ever seen, but it's not
Okay.
what I wanted.
Right.
And then I don't want to tell you too much because I'm coming to the realization that this story is another this
Oh.
needs to wait.
It's another whole. Okay.
Yeah, it
Save
needs
that.
to wait. But I can give you some details without telling you everything.
Great.
Okay.
And also kind of set the tone for boy do I got one. But
I love a tease.
I used to live across across a little courtyard from a tattoo artist who operated out of his home.
Okay.
And at one point we were like drunk smoking cigarettes outside, whatever. And I told him about this tattoo that I'd gotten that I didn't care for because I felt like it looked too flat.
Okay.
And so he, of course, was like, well, I can add some definition to that, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, great. And let's do it. Not right now, obviously, but let's do it. So when presumably I was sober, but and he, is it worse now? I don't know. Like it's maybe worse, but also like he added his own little flair to it, which was not part of the deal.
I didn't
So
ask for
that's
your
when
signature, dude.
I didn't
Yeah.
ask for your signature. You just said you could fix what was going on. So so Diamond Jacks, I would say, they're good for like flash and stuff, but like not for your complicated nuanced pieces or like
Got it.
something that you want a lot of definition in.
Right. Right.
And I just wanted more definition. And so the thing is, I had already had the idea for this tattoo, and I'd had the idea for so long that I commissioned the artist to give me the design. She'd emailed me the design was already in my email. So when I went, I was like, here's this email, here's the design, here it is in like, tattoo artist caliber, like definite, here's what you need.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why I did it, because I was just like, I've already got everything. Why not?
Yeah.
And so
Yep.
they were like, "Bleh." And so
No.
it's like they were like, hey, you ordered this from wish.com, it's just arrived. And
The wish.com thing. This is,
Yeah.
I mean, I had to look it up a long time ago, but yeah, it's apparently Wish is like the melted Amazon. It's like,
yeah, it's like just so worse than what you wanted. It is like the froyo to your bluebell for sure.
Amazing.
So
uh-huh.
so that's it. It's not like and by the way, it's not even the worst. It's not the worst tattoo I have.
Okay.
And that's the story we'll talk about
For-
some other time.
Okay.
I see.
I love it. I love it. See, now I believe I'm correct that Cat, like myself, does not have any tattoos. Is that right?
That
You have
is
no ink?
Incorrect.
Oh, it's incorrect. You do have a tattoo.
Whoa!
I do.
It's-
Don't tell my parents.
Okay.
Oh, what do you got?
Good thing that family stops listening to the podcast before the end of year one.
Long ago.
Yep.
I have I feel like I've told John, I feel like you know this, but it's okay. I'm not here to make you feel embarrassed.
It's been a long pandemic. That's all I
am a
got to say.
big fan of a band called Slater Kinney.
Right.
I love Slater Kitty.
They were the soundtrack of my 20s.
Sure.
And so when I found out they were breaking up, this was back in like early, first decade of the aughts, like 2005, 2006. I was like, well, I got to do something. And so I'm like, I'm going to get a tattoo. And so my friend, Maria, who lived in San Diego at the time, she's like, I was going to do like a song title or something. And she's like, well, I have a set list. And, Janet, the drummer at the time, would handwrite every set list. And so she's like, I have that song. If you want, I can drive it up and you can give it to the artist. And so that's what we did. I was in your pool when I decided to get it at the apartment complex.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's So that's more than 10 years ago,
Yeah,
at least.
I was drinking in the pool with with some mutual friends, and I was like, I'm getting a tattoo. They're like, we have the artist, literally right around the corner. This is in Hollywood. And so Maria drove up. We walked to the tattoo artist there, and I have it, in a place where not everyone sees it. It's for me. It's not for other people.
Sure.
And so it's in the drummer's handwriting and name of one of my favorite songs.
That is awesome.
And that's
okay.
it. That's
I'm
beautiful.
sorry that I
Tattoo.
forgot about that.
That's
Yeah.
okay. That's
Yeah. I have.
So I'm the only one naked of ink.
Yeah, I have 14 tattoos now. I have
Okay.
14.
Cool.
I thought very deeply about really none of them. I mean, but they do. I mean, they do have to be deeper meanings, not to deviate from what we're talking about. But I have this one, this Shimon on it, and that is a tribute to Mavis Staples, the Mavis Staples singers.
Nice.
So there's a long I was real stoned and in the pool, and I found out about Mavis Staples and had a religious experience, and so that's why I have Shimon on my arm, stuff like that. So some of them are fine. Like when I was double vaccinated and finally 2 weeks after my second shot and I could go out in public again, I got this tattoo. Nice. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And then
I like the idea that it's this is again, Lesley trusts themselves more than a lot of people.
I just don't have any reverence towards my body.
got it.
That's really the crux of it, is that I just don't have any respect for this.
I remember the story. I think it was your second episode, so the previous one to this, where you talked about your weight loss that had happened. That was not really on purpose, but
it wasn't. Didn't try. Didn't. Yeah, and we're still on that train. And I have now decided actually, because I think that was back in November. I think that we talked. So I think I've actually gotten not to go on this conversation, but gotten to where I want to quote unquote numbers wise comfortably be. So now I'm I want to look like Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
That's the new goal. The new goal is to
Right.
look like Linda Hamilton in Terminator 2.
But you're gonna have to care about your body a little
But
more.
I have to, yeah. So I'm gonna have to. But here's the thing: all of that is who I used to be. I'm 40 now.
Right.
You're
a different person.
I'm a different person, baby. I'm a different person. I turned 40 on July 5th. It's July 24th. I'm a new person. It's time to care.
Okay, time to care. Let's do it.
I put on a sheet mask the other day, bitch. I'm caring about myself.
Good for you.
Nice. You're practicing self-care.
Hashtag self-care. Okay.
I have been. Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say when you feel like you've reached the Linda Hamilton and T2 level of where your body is, obviously you need a severe ponytail. You need a black tank top.
Oh yeah, black. Well, so here's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do love an aviator. The only problem with that is that because I did lose a lot of weight, and I've always had a large bosom. And I have a lot of actual proper breast tissue there. It's not all just the same kind of fat that goes everywhere else.
Right.
So now, it's just those bits with all this loose. I have this crazy scrotum on my chest. Is kind of what is going on right now. Is the situation. So I love I love that I look amazing with clothes on. That's great. I love that. But yikes. But just.
There is some evidence that elasticity. I'm in my
truly,
50s. There's
truly.
nothing left.
There's nothing left. You're fucked.
No.
You're fucked.
Once I lose this gut, the skin is still going to be there. But I think at 40, you're still good for a few more years. So
bro,
things may tighten up.
Bro, you don't know what you're talking. I'm telling you respectfully.
Yeah. No, it's not happening.
Respectfully, you don't know what you're talking.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Respectfully, on someone of an average size, probably, but
But you were gifted. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, father's side of my family. Yeah, got it from.
Damn
Mama
the
God.
patriarchy. See, they're the ones
Literally,
who do
damn
this
the
to you.
the patriarchy is actually who did this to me.
That's right. That's right.
My mom's a B cup. This is bullshit.
Because Darwinism said, for some reason, at some point, this is what we're looking for, and this is what has bred true.
Well, thanks. I hate it. It's cool. We should all love ourselves more. It's
We
fine.
should. We should. Body positivity.
Body
Yes.
positivity, baby. I'm going to
Absolutely.
have the fucking back and the arms and I'm going to be able to like rip bitches' heads off. It's going to be amazing.
Love it. Love it. We're definitely going to need some shots of that.
Oh, yeah.
Not of you
yeah.
actually ripping people's heads off.
Obviously not, but like being able, like the shots of being able to do that in theory.
Love it.
Well, y'all got any other questions? Y'all got any? y'all got anything else? Y'all got anything else? You have
No,
any
but
other
I love that
opinions?
we're setting up future,
I'm telling you,
stories.
I can't believe that organically came up. But yes, that's the next one.
Okay.
That's,
Are you
Right.
writing this down so that we don't,
You know what?
forget
That's a
what we're
great
gonna talk
idea.
about?
I
Please do
should.
that.
They do
You know
have
what?
a
I'm gonna put
notebook
it-
and have
Yeah.
actually proved to me
Oh,
that
that's right.
that they were aware and ready.
I'm ready.
On the
that
one
was
time
part
when
of my preparation.
I love it.
I love that. I love that. But what I
pro.
did, and the way that we found this out, is that I texted Lesley a copy of the poem.
Which I've never seen the poem, by the way.
Nice.
No,
Like
this is brand new.
Yeah.
We got this from
yeah.
Provincetown, I guess Massachusetts. I don't know why I always think it's in Rhode Island, but Provincetown. It's our friend Dirty Gumbo, dirty.gumbo on Instagram.
good
Oh, I
friend,
see.
Dirty
I see
That's
it
right.
now. Yeah, yeah.
No, actually, my sister was in Provincetown and met this street poet who sells you a poem. You give them a prompt, they write a poem,
Oh my God, that's amazing.
right?
Cool.
And so the prompt here was our usual sign off.
Sure.
Right. But what I thought we might do is when we have guests on blessed occasions such as this, we might have the guest interpret the poem
love
in
it.
their own inimitable fashion
Oh my gosh.
before our final sign off.
That's wonderful.
you.
It's actually, John, can I tell you how connected we are right now?
Oh, please.
As you were telling Kat about this, and I was looking at the text, I was like, how would I, like, yeah, this in my
Right?
head, and I had a
Nice.
cadence. And then you said that, and I was like, I was really hoping I was going to be able to do that.
Oh,
Yeah, no.
yay.
Let's just hope that your oral interpretation is better than Jean-Pierre's.
And on that note, let's just do it. There's
Let's do it.
that's
Let's
it.
hear it.
Let's
Let's
do
hear
it.
it.
Fuck Mike Pence with a frozen brick of butter. Fuck that old bag with a paper bag and a foot ton of rubbers. Fuck Mike Pence till he shakes and starts to stutter.
Woo!
Woo!
Amen.
Well
There you go.
done.
Okay, now,
Thank
do
you.
you have something very quickly that you would like to plug? Is there something we
Yes.
need to know?
I do have a plug. Got a plug.
Okay.
They have mentioned me being a professional a couple of times. Don't make money from it, but I do have a podcast called Syndicated with Lesley and Ben, where me and my friend Ben Hamlin talk
Check it
about
out.
television shows. What we do is we just pick a show that either one or neither of us has seen, and we watch an episode of it, and then we just talk about it and give our opinions. And Ben is like 95% as funny as me. So if you were into this,
High
you'll be into
praise.
that.
High
If
praise.
you're into this, you'll be into that. No, I'm just
Awesome.
kidding. I love you, Ben.
So Syndicated with Lesley and Ben.
Syndicated with Lesley and Ben. You can find it anywhere.
I love it.
Love
it.
that.
Awesome. Well, then, thank you so much for being on the show. It's
Yeah, no
always a
problem.
pleasure.
Of course. Happy to be here. And
And fuck Mike Pence.
fuck Mike Pence. Cheers.
Fuck Mike Pence.